Come and listen to this tale about a dude named Ted, standing there just looking at the tools in his shed. And then he got to thinking, just looking ain't no fun. Let's pick one up and plug it in and see if it'll run. It did. Pretty good, too. Now old Ted's a happy guy 'cause he's got a pretty wife. Figures if he plays it right, he'll keep that gal for life. That gal, her name is Beverly, and he's her hillbilly. He's sweet on her, she's sweet on him, they're happy as could be. She's Beverly, he's Hillbilly, he's Beverly's hillbilly.
All right, so here's the deal. Yesterday, for a change, I actually did some work. I drove my truck over there to Kingston, and I got a new tank for my air compressor, because that tank, which is the original, developed a hole in it. Oops, right in there, where you can see I tried to weld it. And the trick with that is that, oh, shut up, stupid dog. Anyway, I tried to weld it. I had the heat turned down, and even with the heat turned down and a small rod, still had a problem. It was so thin that it just blew a hole in it. So that tank right there, it's a 60-gallon tank, as opposed to a 26, I think the old one was, tank. And I never even thought about videoing any of the work I did yesterday. Most of it was driving to Kingston and back. But here's the story. This tank is designed by and manufactured by a company called Sanborn. And mine is, I think it's actually called a Husky, but it was manufactured for Husky, I'm sure, by a company, and it's called the Iron Horse. It's a 5-horsepower device. Anyway, there's the motor, there's the compressor, and now it's mounted on this tank. The problem was that they use different mounting systems, so I had to drill holes and mount the motor and the compressor. So the compressor is mounted just fine. It only mounts in one place. There are adjustments on the motor, which is a good thing because I didn't get it quite tight enough, as you can see. Anyway, I'm going to put a fire on because it's colder than my stepmother's heart out here. Okay, so I have a fire going. It's going to take a while to get very warm in here, take any of the chill off, but I still have to go and get one part for this. And I want to explain a little bit of what I forgot to turn the camera on and show you yesterday. First of all, of course, I had to dismantle everything, and which wasn't a big job, surprisingly. And I'll show you what had to go back together here. So I already showed you the mounting for the electric motor and for the compressor. Compressed air from the compressor comes in through here, down through here, and directly into the tank. Now all of this fit back in perfectly. It was the same size fittings as what was on the old tank. And I don't know if you can see it, that little nipple right there. There's a nipple there with a line that comes out of it. And it comes over to the pressure regulator. The pressure regulator itself is completely separate from the air that goes out to your shop. The air that goes out to your shop comes in to the regulator from here and through this regulation valve and out to your shop, and it's completely separated inside. The other air is simply to run a little contact switch. One other thing that I did do, I did it quite when I first bought the compressor. The compressor was originally a 120 volt setup, and I want to show you, and you can see it or not in there. Does it focus? Yes, volts, 120, 240. Amps 15, 7.5. Interesting. So it uses half the amperage if it runs on 240 volts. Now the reason for that is because it's getting its power from both sides of the leg on the panel. So what did I do? As soon as I got it home, I converted the engine, or the motor, sorry, it's not an engine, the motor, via just some connections inside, which are explained right here, to run on 220. And it makes no difference at all to the regulator. It works just fine on 220 as well. At any rate, all of that fit on there, except of course for the fact that on the regulator everything had to come off of it in order to go on to this, where it just came off the old one no problem at all, because the old one had a separate mount for the motor and for the compressor with a space between them, which meant that all of this stuff could pass by it when it's, all of this stuff here could pass by it while it's spinning on or off. So everything had to come off of this and get put back on it, including all the electrical connections and everything. But anyway, that's all done. I'm not going to open it up and mess with that. I've already put it all back together again. I haven't tested anything yet, and you'll get to witness that. Now, the one thing that they didn't send, that I didn't get with it, is a plug for this hole right here. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe they did that so that if you wanted to, you could turn it into a vertical tank or a horizontal tank. I don't know. Even so, I don't have a plug, so I'm going to go get one. That's a 3/4 inch black pipe plug. So anyway, I'm going to go and get one of those, and hopefully by the time I'm back, that thing will be doing a bit of work, getting the chill off in here. By the time it starts getting a little bit warmer, maybe some of the lights will come on. That one's on, but those ones over there above the stove are not. I don't know why. Anyway, well, I know why. It's because it's cold. Anyway, and of course these ones here, they're outdoor sign lighting fixtures. They'll work at -20, and as will that. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back from the lumber store where I got a 3/4 inch plug for that side over there. First thing you want to do before you put any of these kind of connections together is use some Teflon tape. You know, I don't know, hopefully I'm somewhere where you can actually see this. And my hands being what they are, really don't do the job the way I'd like them to, but anyway. When you're putting this stuff on the threads, you want to turn the piece and the tape in such a way that it's turning the same direction as you're going to turn it when you turn it into its hole, because otherwise it would just peel it off. And I think I'll just use all of that's on that one. See, it's empty now. And I don't know if you can see that or not. That's the end of it, and it's coming that way, and when I go to tighten the piece in, I'll be turning it this way so it'll go with the object instead of the opposite way, which would tend to peel it back. Alright, anyway, let's see if I can show you what I'm doing over here. So what that leaves for me to do now is tighten the belt. Nothing left for it but to move it close enough to a 220 volt plug and see if it'll work or not. It did. Nothing for it now. Of course, you didn't see any of that. It reached, I plugged it in up there. We're going to just give it a test run to see if it'll work or not. It's a lot bigger tank than the old one. It'll take longer to build pressure. But volume is a good thing. The pressure is rising. So good. So now I guess this episode is all done and said. I would like to thank you all for visiting with Ted. If you'd like to see what's next, why not subscribe and see? It's not that hard, just click on it, it's easy as could be. Comment too, I'd like that.